Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. I've got a couple M&P M2.0 full sizes sitting here. I've got the metal frame and the polymer frame. Please don't forget to check out our website. Go to our affiliates page. You'll find discount codes for things like Manta sacks and core belts. Link to that cool little bore light that we use for lighting up the barrels. Use those links. It will often save you money, never will cost you any additional money, and helps the channel. And please consider supporting the channel on Utreon, where we could do some videos that we can no longer do on YouTube. One thing I'm going to note is you might want to consider checking us out and supporting the channel on Utreon, where we can do things like, you'll see this trigger's a little different. We can't do install videos anymore on YouTube. None of the gun channels can, but we can do them on Utreon. So if you're looking for some of the videos that we used to do and other channels used to do, check us out over there where we can do those types of things. But comparisons we can still do here and reviews we can still do here, so of course we're not leaving YouTube. What I've got here is among the latest in the M&P lineup, at least for now, the metal frame M&P 2.0. This is a 9mm. This is the full size. They also have a competition series. It's longer. It's got compensators and some other features. And I'm hoping that they'll come out with a compact and a subcompact over time. But for now, those are the two options. And I've got one of the M&P M2.0s that we've had for quite a while. And I'm kind of just going to go over the differences between them. So the obvious difference is alloy frame versus polymer frame. The other functions and components are very similar or almost the same. So it still has stainless steel barrel, stainless steel slide. On anything that's not Cerakoted, this is a gray Cerakote, that it'll have the Armor Night finish. And it still has the wraparound grip panels. Comes in with 4 of them, and they're just as easily changed on the metal frame as they are on the polymer frame. So when they went to the metal frame, they didn't lose that capability. A lot of manufacturers give up the replaceable grips or back straps, wraparounds, whatever that particular gun has on the polymer, they give that up when they go to the metal. It has the same serrations at the back, that fish scale that Smith Wesson is known for. But as you move to the front of it, you'll see that on the original, or the polymer frame, it's just a little bit here at the bottom of the slide, and they've extended it to the top of the slide on the metal frame. The slide is basically the same overall, other than those minor nuances in the addition of this, and you'll see that it still has the 3-slot Picatinny rail. So most of the significant things didn't change. One thing that did change, the slide stop slide release sticks out a little bit more. They are ambidextrous. And since I'm going to pick these up, I'll take a moment to clear them. So we have an unloaded metal frame and we have an unloaded polymer. Both have the ambidextrous slide stop slide release, but it's a little more flush on the polymer frame version versus a little bit more of a shelf to get a hold of on the metal frame version. One difference between these is the polymer frame version has kind of an extended steel component of the frame to give it more rigidity, which isn't present on the metal frame because of course the frame is metal. The extended steel component here was to improve rigidity, reduce flex, make the gun a little bit more reliable, and it appears to work. These actually stay accurate, they stay true, they do have good mechanical accuracy, and of course with the full metal frame you don't need that add-on piece, but you haven't lost anything either. I did actually find the metal frame one a little easier to shoot well, but at kind of a nuance level. Slightly tighter groups, slightly better repeatability. The little bit of additional weight, it's 2.2 ounces more, weighs 30 ounces instead of 27.8 ounces. That might have contributed a little bit to it. And the frame, by the way, is an aluminum alloy frame. It's not steel. So overall, this turns out to be quite a good gun. You do pick up optics ready on the metal frame one. There is a variant now of the polymer frame that is optics ready. This particular one that I have here is not. But overall, they're really both good guns, but I am actually kind of liking the metal frame one a little bit better. So I'm going to demonstrate the trigger, but to do that I need one that actually has the original stock trigger, so I'm going to set that aside. I have this compact, and this has the original trigger that is common on the M2.0 series as when they first came out. I'm starting to see this flatty style trigger appear on variants of the M2.0 polymer, so this may be the trigger of the future in this lineup. But the one that I've got, and that one before we put the apex in it, is a hinge trigger. A little bit of take up to get the hinge to take up, and then after that it just becomes a flat trigger. Nice pull. Decent reset, not the shortest on the planet. A little bit of take up to get back on the wall. And then the brake again. It's a nice short crisp brake. These are nice triggers. One of the things the M2.0 did bring in is quite a nice trigger. Now this one has the toggle for the inertial safety as opposed to the hinge. Has about the same take up. It actually appears to be a slightly shorter, crisper brake. Appears to be a shorter reset, but it does have a tendency to want to bounce off the reset at the end. So there's a little bit of take up to get back on the wall, and then a short, crisp brake. I would say the trigger on this is kind of just an evolution better than the original one, but not a lot. It's not a groundbreaking, massive difference. It's just a slightly better trigger overall. It's one thing I see that they've done on the M&P line as a whole is they continually seem to improve the trigger. The original M&Ps, going back to the first version, had pretty horrible triggers. And then as they evolved forward, those just got better and better. And then the M2.0 was an evolution past that, and they, again, continue to make it better. So I'm going to put this guy away because, you know, he's a compact, not a full size. I am hoping to see a compact of the metal frame come out, as well as a subcompact. This, I think, would be a perfect subcompact concealed carry for people that like metal frame guns, want that little bit of additional weight. And as far as weight goes, it's 27.8 ounces, 30 ounces, so it's not that much different. And this is 1.16 inches thick, and this is 1.3 inches thick. So, of course, with the slide stop slide release sticking out a little bit further, this makes this one a little bit thicker. Two nuancy little differences is, yeah, I already mentioned this is a little bit thicker, but it's also hinged differently than this one. Just the way it's set up is a little bit different. And you'll see that on the polymer one, there's kind of a little squarish notch here that's filled in. This would be cut out for the thumb safety. There is currently no thumb safety version available in the metal frame. But these are like Glocks and what the Springfield XDMs and everything else. They've got all the internal safeties that have come to be popular on striker-fired guns. So they're really meant to be safely concealed carry. A couple differences in the grip. This has kind of this little cutout to act as a guide to put your thumb into. And this has a little bit of a grippier area up here that's smoother here. And there is a little bit of a difference in the overall texturing. There's this middle section is smooth on the metal frame, and it's got texture here. So you can see it's smooth here, and it's got texture on the polymer gun. Other than that, they're very similar. And of course, both retain the replaceable back straps, so you're not losing anything there. And you still have that little piece that you can turn and pull out to either release the back strap or to use this to disengage or engage the sear release. So that everything can be done with these toolless. And it goes right in, stays with the gun. And when you put the magazine in, it kind of gives it a little bit more of a flush look. And there's a little loop here that you can put a lanyard on it if you wanted to. Uses the same magazines, both of these guns. So any gun that'll fit the full, or any magazine that'll fit the full size polymer will fit the full size metal frame, and vice versa. And if they ever come out with bigger magazines, they would work equally well. And that's one thing I like when they have a line like this and they evolve the line. That magazine compatibility back and forth between them is very useful. People tend to buy one, get some magazines for it, and then you get another variant in that same line, and all of a sudden you got to buy new magazines. You know, that can be a deterrent, and it can get expensive. Both of these have pretty much similar 3-dot, if I get them lined up right, 3-dot white sights, really easy to see. There's a variation of night sights and regular sights available on the different models throughout the entire M&P lineup. You'll see the shape of the sights is different, and part of that is because they line them up this way. To get the optics ready, one thing I'll note is the optics cut does affect the sights a little bit in the shape of the dovetail notch and the overall size of the sights. So there's going to be some sight incompatibility between the two. You may not be able to put sights that fit this version on this version. All the metal frame ones are optics ready. Some of the polymer frame ones are coming out with an optics ready variant. So that is not something that's exclusive to the metal frame, but there is no non-optics ready variant of the metal frame. And the metal frame one does come with a bag that has all of the plates and screws and everything else you might need for the assorted optics that are out there. And this comes right in the box, which is nice. I hate it when you buy the gun and then you find out there's only one particular optic that'll fit it, or you need to figure out what plate to order and wait 2 weeks to get the plate. It just comes with it in the box. So whatever optic you've got, there's probably a plate that'll fit it. And unfortunately, they did kind of make that mistake with the M&P 5.7. It doesn't come with the plates, and there's a limited set of optics. That's not going to be a problem in the metal frame gun. So if you got your favorite optic, there's a plate for it, there's screws for it, and chances are pretty good, unless it's the weirdest optic on the planet, that it's just going to fit. Front sights are quite similar. They're both dovetailed, and they actually appear to be the same dovetail. So the front sight compatibility may be back and forth across them. Other than that, any differences are really just kind of nuances. The last thing I'll do is I'll turn them so that you can really get a good look at the slides, so I can zoom out before I go on to the rest of the wrapping up. But they're a little bit different on the top. It's a little bit flatter here. But overall, they're very similar. A little bit flatter on the metal frame one to make room for that optics cut. They kind of got rid of some of the bevel that was on the slide of the other one. Overall, if you're looking for a metal frame M&P, if you like the M&P lineup, this is a good choice. I found it easy to shoot well. I found it to be reliable. It seems to be just as well machined and constructed as the polymer frame. Has all the same quality features you'd expect, and a few more, the improved trigger, and of course the metal frame and the availability of this really cool looking tungsten gray Cerakote. And you don't lose any of the features. You retain the back straps and everything else. So other than the fact that these have an MSRP of $8.99, this one here you see without the optics cut has a MSRP of $6.49, but I'm seeing these down in the $6.79 territory. So fundamentally the prices might be similar. The only other major difference that may be important depending on Kydex holsters is this is 1.3 inches wide, and that's because of this extended slide step slide release, and this is 1.16. That may affect some Kydex holsters, but it's not going to make a big difference in whether or not you could conceal one or the other. I think they're both going to be equally carryable. Of course, the weight is different. 27.8 ounces and another 2.2 ounces coming up to 30 ounces for the metal frame one. But even that's not a significant difference. It's not massively heavier, it's just slightly heavier. The only other thing and you find this with Smith & Wessons in general, this sandpaper finish is really easy to hold on to. It stays in your hand well. It doesn't chafe at the range, but if it's rubbing up against your body in a concealed carry, you may find it annoying. So these are guns you're going to want to have something that separates you from the grip, just because this sliding back and forth on you would over time get old. But I've never had one of these, of any of the variations of this, and I've tried multiples of the M&Ps and the polymer and now this alloy frame one. None of these chafe, hurt, scratch, or abrade at the range. They stay right in your hand where they're supposed to, and they get the job done. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell to be notified if you do. Check us out on Utreon, where we can have some additional types of videos we can no longer do on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, Rumble, pretty much everywhere. And if you do check us out on Utreon, please support the channel to help us be able to do those types of videos that we can no longer do on YouTube. And thank you.